Looks like Joe dropped off.
No, he is here.
And Triana.
I got knocked off. Maybe that's what happened to Joe.
Yeah, he froze and then he dropped.
Did anybody call him on the phone?
I'm sure he's trying to log in again.
Same happened to me also.
Yeah, the same thing happened to me. There was a momentary glitch in the connection.
Yeah, all right, I'm back.
Joe's back.
Welcome back.
Yeah, something came up and said your phone and the meeting is discontinued and all right, let's start with the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Have our moment of silent reflection and prayer that COVID settles back down again and we can get our lives back to normal, and that our country stays safe throughout the turmoil that's going on now. Thank you. Oh, we got our birthdays, and we've got a couple of nonagenarians, Sandy Junta, Henry Van Dam, Bob Bieber, Odie Green, and everybody else is a lot younger by a year or two. I wish everybody a happy birthday. Jerry Kranz, are you on with us today?
I'm here. You want me to sing? My
Please
goodness.
do, with that melodious voice.
Okay, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear fellows. Happy birthday to you.
Jerry, thank you. Next slide. With membership anniversaries, we got quite a few this month. 30 years, Norm Woolley. Has anybody heard about from Norm? Okay. And 20-year celebrants are Len Pensiero, Joe Soma, and Jack Staginki. 10 years is Dr. Joe Marino, and 5 years is Ron Murray. Congratulations, man. Okay, just again, our elections for our office, and hopefully they're not going to be contentious, and I think only our members are allowed to vote, so that's in our constitution, and you have to be 55 years or older to vote. Nominations will be accepted from the floor, and if anything, contact Bob Lupin. You'll see the information on the next slide. And then, speaking of elections, I was going to do something else, but this is an election, and it's a personal election. With the surge in the COVID cases, you might want to consider, if you have some elective surgery that you might need, doing it now rather than waiting, because if we go into a situation like we had in March, where they shut down the emergency or the surgeries from the end of March through almost July for elective surgeries, that would put us into February and March of next year, assuming that it's the same response to the virus that we had the first go around. I know I had something that I didn't want to put off, and I'm going to have done next week. So, or on the 17th, a recurrence of my carpal tunnel. But in any event, I want to get it done before it gets any worse, and can't wait. So it's something to consider if you have an elective surgery that needs to be done, to do it sooner rather than wait. Next slide. Okay, Bob, do you want to talk to it?
Sure. I'll be glad to. It's similar to, well, it is exactly what we showed last time, which may have been 2 weeks ago. These are the nominations for 2021. And we look forward to having the vote, which is the Thursday before Thanksgiving, which is November 19th. And anybody that's at the meeting can vote. That's the way it normally works when we meet in person too. So if you have any additional nominations or you're interested yourself, please contact me. It's my cell phone number and my email address. I haven't received any word from anyone at this point. But again, I'd like to thank our nominating committee who did a great job and putting this together for us. So, Jerry, I don't think we're still spelling your name wrong. I think when you don't have a T in there.
It's okay. I'm thinking of putting a T back in permanently.
Yeah, I think you should. I think you should. Otherwise, if we vote for you, it may not be really you. It may be somebody else. But in any case, so does anybody have any comments right now that you would like to make, or any nominations that you would like to present to the group now, or personally just through me? Okay, Joe, I don't know if there's any other questions that anybody may have, or you may.
The only thing I want to add is if you do want to nominate someone, please make sure that they are willing to accept.
Yes. And make sure if you're nominating somebody, nominate them for a specific position. You don't just throw a name out there. Yeah.
All right, thank you, Bob. I know it's
Okay, Joe.
never an easy task.
No, I know.
Today, we're having Christina Crane. Christina is the executive director of the Stamford Senior Center, giving us our Medicare update, which she's done for the last few years, and it's been very helpful. So stay tuned and stay on for Christina after the meeting. The upcoming speakers before our Thanksgiving break are Mark Laurenti, Department of Homeland Security, and on the 12th, and then on the 19th, Mark Albertson, trial of the 20th century, which was the Nuremberg trials for war criminals. And one thing I noticed, Mark is very prolific speaking to the various groups in the area. Occasionally get information from some of the other groups, and Mark has talked about ballooning and this and what number of various subjects. So and he's always interesting. So looking forward to that. Ira.
Good morning.
Great notes, and you're responsible for it.
Okay. Thanks to Lou Terry for doing the minutes last week. We had an online attendance of 76, which was good. And you've all received the minutes, I presume. So if there are no corrections or additions, again, I'm going to ask our acting president, Joe, to cast one vote for everybody for approval.
Yeah, I haven't heard anything, so I certainly approve the minutes as they were presented. And just as an aside, I believe that 76 is the highest number we've had since we started going on Zoom. And yeah, there were a couple of non-members on, judging by the names that came on, but Dr. Parry gave a great talk. And if you weren't on last week, certainly please go on the website, click on the video of Dr. Parry's presentation. It was, I can't describe it. It was just a great, unbiased, straight talking presentation about the COVID situation and what's happening. So please do that if you didn't see it. Larry.
Okay, discussion groups at 9:20. First of all, I want to thank Art Feldman for this morning's. It was quite an active give and take and discussion. And Art, thank you for leading it about where we stand in Tuesday's elections, which are still not over. Next week, November 12th, Bob Butke back on technology. The 19th, Joe D on current events. And November 26th, Thanksgiving, will be no meeting. We will be posting on the next week these speakers for December. So thank you guys for participating and leading as the case may be. Next slide. Yesterday we had a walk. We changed the location. It was at Waveney Park, which was very, very beautiful. Trees still had some leaves on it, so the colors were great. The weather was perfect. Just want to thank Carl Funch, who is not pictured here because he took the picture, and for leading and organizing the walks. Next week, the walk will be back in Cove Island Park, unless you hear differently from via email that the location has been changed. I encourage more of you to come out. It's great exercise. It's nice camaraderie to see people and have an actual conversation in person with them, and spouses or friends are welcome. Yesterday, there were 2 spouses, my wife and Bob Meyer's wife. So please take part. Next slide.
You want to mention Franco's public service
No, I'll pass
with
on
the young ladies?
I'll pass on that.
There were 5 kids with New Canaan High School. I don't know if they were cheerleaders or whatever they were, team, but they each piled out of their individual cars and unmasked, jumped into one car. So there were 5 young ladies in one car and unmasked, and Franco walked up with his mask, and the girl said, "Oh, we have it here. See, I have mine." So I think the 8 of us, 4 of us said, "Well, wear it." And they looked and like, oh, but you know, it's just a sign of the times. The kids don't care, and they pass it on, and that's why we're having situations that we're having right now. So, Carl.
Carl's not here.
Carl's not here?
Nope.
Okay. Well,
Carl had to go to a funeral. I'll speak up for him. Nothing has changed. Total membership 240, 47 life and 193 regular members. New members who joined in 2020 are 8. I don't believe there are any visitors or guests today, so, but if there are, please send an email to carl@funchcw@gmail.com.
Thanks, Larry.
Okay.
Dues, okay. As everyone is aware, the dues for 2021 have been reduced to $30, and they're required to be paid by December 31st. So Carl is starting to collect the dues now. So please mail your checks payable to SMAS to Carl, 100 Edward Place, 06905. This will be up, but probably an email, Steve, maybe you can just copy the slide and just send an email out to the membership.
Okay.
Okay. Next slide. So,
Yeah, next slide, please. Yeah, okay. As Larry just mentioned, the membership for the last probably 8 or 9, 10 weeks has remained constant. As we've mentioned in the past, the only recruiting activity we really have is by the membership contacting their friends, family, whoever, to come and listen to us and join. So I'm thinking if we made a concerted effort this week, everybody who's logged on right now to Zoom, call one friend, one relative, just ask them to sit in next week. The topic of the Homeland Security, I'm sure, is near and dear to everyone's heart. So it should be pretty interesting. And just ask them to sit in, and hopefully they'll do that and want to join us regularly. So the task this week is for everyone to get one additional person to sit in on next week's meeting, and hopefully we can bump that number up a little bit. Thank you very much.
okay, just as an aside, we're up to 59 people today, which is still good. However, let's try and get the participation up. Let's try and hit that number of 100. We had 76. So aside from asking new people, if you've sponsored somebody or brought somebody into the organization and you see that they haven't been attending the Zoom meetings, call them and say, invite them to attend the Zoom meeting. Phil, I guess, Phil, are you on now?
Yes. I have
Okay,
a little
Phil.
trouble getting on, but I'm on.
Okay. Phil, sorry to hear about your mother-in-law passing away.
Thank you so much, Joe. And I was going to ask if people had things to report before I mention my own. Anybody have anything to report about friends or fellow members?
Ira Bernstein, I guess this comes under good news. Yesterday, both the Advocate and the Greenwich Time published an article on the opinion page titled "The Consequences of Touch Starvation," which was written by my nurse practitioner daughter-in-law, Terry.
Oh, mazel tov.
Thank you.
Anything else? We had sad news in our family. My mother-in-law, as Joe mentioned, who was 92 and living in the assisted living up at Meadow Ridge in Reading, Connecticut. A very unusual person who wanted to control the end of her life. She was not in pain. There were 2 weeks of her waiting for the Grim Reaper to arrive. She became very impatient toward the end. What she had decided was, when they told her that she needed dialysis and she tried it twice, she decided she wanted no further medical intervention. And she also told us that she wanted her body donated to Yale University Medical School. And so all her wishes were carried out. She was very lucid to the very end. And it was a real pleasure knowing this extraordinary woman who was president of a congregation twice in Chappaqua, New York. And I share that with you all. And is there anything else anybody would like to add about any of our members? Good news. Thank you, Ira.
Phil?
Yeah, Alan.
Yeah, I've donated my body to science fiction.
We needed that laugh. I hope everybody's being very patient and that the resolution that comes will bring peace and harmony to our country, which we so badly need.
Thank you, Phil. Dick, you're up.
Good morning, everybody. All of these books are displayed right on the screen. The Band of Brothers, we've read some other, or there are a lot of books that Stephen Ambrose has written. And this should be interesting to all of us. Many of us were at least alive when this World War II bomber group was operating, may not have very sharp memories of what they were about at that time. But it's another promising book for us to read. And then the other books in the future are listed with the dates. So hope we have a good discussion on the 2nd of December.
Thank you, Dick. Okay.
I'll mention this one.
Yeah, I was going to say, Steve, you want to?
Yeah, for those of our members that are veterans, the Senior Center is sponsoring one of their grab and go events on November the 10th in honor of Veterans Day, which is the 11th, between 9 and 10:30 at the JCC. You can drive up, get a donut and coffee. The only thing is they ask you to pre-register. Just call the number there, and that's the Senior Center's number, and let them know that you want to come for your free coffee and donut.
Steve, do you also want to announce the city's Veterans Observance on Sunday the 8th?
Yes, as Phil mentioned, on November the 8th, there will be a Veterans Day ceremony held at Veterans Park. Attendance has not been widely publicized because of the COVID restrictions, which are even greater now with phase 2. However, the ceremony will be streamed live, and I will send out that link to everybody, and it will also be available on YouTube after the fact. So I encourage everyone to go out and see the ceremony. I've seen the schedule for it, and it will be a very impressive ceremony. Anybody have any other questions? Alan?
Steve?
Yes, I do. Today, between 11:30 and 2 o'clock on Cortlandt Avenue at the dog park, they are doing COVID testing. So I will be going up just to get a precautionary test. That's on Cortlandt Avenue in the Post Road. Anybody knows where the dog park is? So the COVID testing today. Thank you.
Steve, can I comment on the donuts and coffee? You do not have to be a member of the Senior Center to get the coffee and donuts, correct?
I believe that's true. Just that you're supposed to be a veteran. I don't think they're asking for ID, that, as far as I know.
Okay.
Any items for discussion? I have one. I don't know if you're familiar, in the Catholic Church, we celebrate individuals who have led exemplary lives and miracles that have been attributed, and they become saints. And as an active member of the Knights of Columbus. The founder of the Knights of Columbus in 1882 was a parish priest at St. Mary's Church in New Haven, and he was born in Waterbury. And there are 2 steps before becoming a saint, and one is becoming a venerable, and then beatification. The individual becomes blessed, titled blessed, and Father McGivney was given that title as Blessed Father McGivney, Michael McGivney, on Saturday with a big celebration. So American saints are starting to show up, American born, and Father McGivney certainly has, and there was a miracle attributed to him where a child was diagnosed in utero as not having any chance to live due to complications, and the family started asking for his intercession, and miraculously went back for an ultrasound again, and the problems were disappeared, and the child was born, and I think he's about 4 years old now, and he was present at the Mass for the beatification. So just a point of information. Anyone else?
Yeah, I have question. When I had the discussion on intersectionality, I noticed that I know very little about problems which Black Lives Matter and Antifa pursue. It would be nice to contact this organization and have them to present, their point of view, so and their problems and what they're trying to achieve. Because if you go on their website, it's very expanded and deep. So how to contact these organizations and to have them to present their, issues would be nice.
Well,
Joe, I don't know whether you noticed Chris Crane has joined us.
okay. Welcome, Chris. Winding down now, and on Arcades, as our speaker a couple of weeks ago said, there's no real organization to contact. It's a loose amalgam of whatever. And but yeah, it's a good suggestion. Thank you, Art. Okay, before we go into have Chris present, are there any jokes? Alan?
Yes, regarding all of this very pious stuff from Rabbi Phil, I came across a quote from Isadora Duncan, if anybody remembers her, a very flamboyant dancer from 100 years ago. She said, "Virtuous people are simply those who have not been tempted significantly."
That's true. That's true.
Okay. All right, Christina, are you
Good morning.
ready to present?
I am ready. Yes.